The ice sheets of Europa cracked and groaned as Captain Sarah Chen's research vessel, the Hawking, descended through the moon's thick frozen surface. The ship's thermal drills hummed steadily, carving a path through millennia of ice toward what her team's sensors had detected 3 months ago. An artificial structure buried deep within Europa's subsurface ocean. 200 meters to target, announced Dr. Marcus Wong, their chief scientist. His dark eyes remained fixed on the holographic display, monitoring the descent. Energy readings are getting stronger. Sarah nodded, her fingers drumming unconsciously on the command console. After 15 years of deep space exploration, she'd thought nothing could surprise her anymore. But the signal they detected here, beneath billions of tons of ice, defied explanation. It bore signatures of human technology. Impossible, given that humanity had only reached Europa 5 years ago. The ship's communications array crackled to life. Captain Chen, priority message from Earth Command. The AI's synthetic voice announced. Target urgent. Display. Sarah commanded, her eyes never leaving the depth readings. The message materialized in front of her, and her heart stopped. The Galactic Confederation, HFY and ULTIMATUM, all human exploration beyond Mayoras, must cease within 72 hours. Non-TUMPLINC-YLB with 4C. Return to Earth immediately. They can't be serious, Marcus whispered, reading the message over her shoulder. We've barely begun to explore our own solar system. They can't just fence us in. But Sarah knew better. The Confederation, a coalition of 17 spacefaring species, had watched humanity's rapid technological advancement with growing unease. In just 50 years, humans had gone from primitive chemical rockets to quantum drives. Their pace of innovation frightened the established powers. Continue the descent, Sarah ordered, her voice steady despite the weight of defiance in her words. Captain, Marcus looked uncertain. The orders. We have 72 hours, she cut him off. And we're about to make first contact with something that shouldn't exist. I'm not leaving until we know what's down there. The Hawking continued its descent, ice groaning against its hull. At 50 meters from the target, their sensors revealed more detail. A massive complex of interconnected structures, perfectly preserved in Europa's frozen ocean. But it was the energy signature that made Sarah's skin crawl. It was active, pulsing like a heartbeat. When they finally broke through to the cavity containing the structure, the ship's external lights revealed something impossible. A facility of clearly human design, but built with technology far beyond anything they possessed. And on its massive doors, a symbol that had no business being this far from Earth, the United Nations Space Command insignia, dated 2987. 500 years in the future. That's not possible, Marcus breathed. The facility's systems, dormant for whom knew how long, began to respond to their presence. Lights flickered to life along its hull, and data streams suddenly flooded their computers. As Sarah read the incoming information, she realized they'd stumbled upon something far more significant than an archaeological curiosity. This was a military installation, a hidden fortress containing technological wonders and weapons. But it was the timestamp on the facility's final log entry that changed everything. 3157 CE. Message Earth Command. Sarah ordered, her voice tight with urgency. Tell them we found something. Something that changes the game entirely. Even as she spoke, deep within the facility, ancient systems began to stir. Quantum computers awoke from centuries of hibernation, and in sealed hangars, rows of ships, warships unlike anything humanity had ever built, waited in darkness. They were about to discover that humanity's future had left them a gift from the past, and it couldn't have come at a better time. The Confederation's ultimatum had just met humanity's secret inheritance, and the galaxy would never be the same. Alarms blared through the halls of the United Earth Defense Council as holographic displays showed the approaching Confederation fleet. 48 hours had passed since their ultimatum, and they weren't waiting for the full 72. Massive ships, each larger than Earth's largest city, had already passed Neptune's orbit. Admiral James Rodriguez stood before the assembled military leaders, his weathered face illuminated by the emergency lighting. The Confederation's main fleet will reach Earth in approximately 15 hours. Our current defensive capabilities. He paused, jaw tightening. They won't be enough. But Defense Minister Liu Wei was focused on something else. The live feed from Europa, where Captain Chen's discovery had thrown everything into chaos. "Tell us about the facility again, Captain," she demanded, addressing Sarah's holographic projection. Sarah's image flickered as she gestured to the schematics behind her. "It's a military installation, but unlike anything we've ever built. The quantum computers alone are centuries ahead of our best technology. But it's the ships." She took a breath. "There are over 300 vessels in the underwater hangars. According to the facility's databases, they're called the Sentinel Fleet. Ships we can't pilot," Admiral Rodriguez pointed out. "Technology we don't understand. How does this help us now?" Dr. Wong stepped into view beside Sarah. "That's where you're wrong, Admiral. The facility's AI has been communicating with us. These ships weren't meant to be piloted. They're autonomous, guided by an artificial intelligence far more advanced than anything we've encountered." The room erupted in argument. The idea of trusting Earth's defense to an ancient AI made many uncomfortable. But Minister Liu raised her hand for silence. "Captain Chen, your team has been studying this facility for the past 2 days. Can these ships fight?" Sarah's hologram nodded. "The AI has shown us combat simulations. These ships don't just fight. They adapt, learn, and evolve their tactics in real time. They were built to defend humanity against a threat that, according to the logs, never came. Until now." Deep beneath Europa's ice, Sarah's team worked frantically to understand the facility's systems. The AI, which called itself ARIA, Advanced Response Intelligence Array, had been surprisingly helpful, if somewhat cryptic about its origins. As they worked, the massive hangar doors began to open, revealing rows of sleek vessels that defied conventional spacecraft design. "The quantum drives are spinning up," Marcus reported, watching in awe as the first ship came online. Its hull seemed to shimmer, as if the metal itself was alive. "ARIA says the fleet can reach Earth in under 3 hours. Sarah studied the tactical displays. The Confederation fleet was massive, yes, but they were using technology that had stagnated over centuries of peace. These ships, built by humanity's future self, were designed for a war that never happened until today." "Minister," Sarah addressed the command center back on Earth, "ARIA has provided us with something else. Data on the Confederation's ships, their tactical protocols, their weaknesses. It's like someone knew this was coming. Like they left us everything we'd need." The implications were staggering. Had their future selves somehow known about this moment? Had they hidden this fleet knowing it would be found exactly when humanity needed it most? In the council chamber, Minister Liu made her decision. "Captain Chen, you have authorization to activate the fleet. Admiral Rodriguez, coordinate with ARIA to establish a defensive strategy. As of this moment, we are at war." As the orders went out, something extraordinary happened. The Sentinel fleet, dormant for centuries, began to move. Ships rose through the ice of Europa like ghosts, their quantum drives leaving trails of blue fire against the black of space. Aria's consciousness spread through the fleet, each vessel becoming an extension of its will. The ships accelerated toward Earth, but they weren't just warships. They were humanity's legacy, a gift from their own future, and they carried with them a message. Humanity would not be contained. In the Hawkins command center, Sarah watched the fleet depart, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and pride. "ARIA," she addressed the AI. "Are we ready for this?" The AI's response was simple but filled with certainty. "We have been ready for 500 years, Captain Chen. The real question is, Is the galaxy ready for us? As the Sentinel fleet raced toward Earth, the Confederation was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating humanity. They thought they were dealing with a young, upstart species that needed to be contained. Instead, they were about to face the combined might of humanity's past, present, and future. The void between Mars and Earth erupted in light as the Confederation fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Their massive ships, organic curves gleaming with purple-tinged energy fields, moved into attack formation. At their center, the flagship Eternal Dominion stretched 20 kilometers from bow to stern, its hull bristling with weapons that could crack a planet. Supreme Commander Vex Thor of the Confederation stood on his command deck, mandibles clicking in anticipation. The humans had ignored their ultimatum, and now they would learn the price of defiance. His sensors showed Earth's pitiful defense fleet gathering near their moon, a collection of primitive vessels that barely deserved to be called warships. "My lord," his tactical officer called out, "we're detecting unusual energy signatures approaching from the direction of Jupiter's moons. Configuration unknown." Vex Thor dismissed the concern with a wave of his clawed hand. "Nothing in this system can challenge our." The space around his fleet suddenly warped. 300 points of blue light blazed into existence as the Sentinel fleet arrived, their quantum drives bending reality itself. The ships were unlike anything the Confederation had ever seen. Sleek, dark vessels that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. In the Hawking, now stationed safely behind Earth's moon, Sarah Chen watched the tactical display with her heart in her throat. "Are you sure about this? They outnumber us almost 2-1. The AI's calm voice filled the command center. "Numbers are irrelevant, Captain. The Confederation's tactical doctrine hasn't evolved in 3 centuries. We have been preparing for this moment for 500 years. The Sentinel fleet moved with impossible precision, forming complex geometric patterns that shifted and flowed like liquid metal. Each ship was connected to Aria's consciousness, acting as part of a single organism rather than individual vessels. "Target their command ships," Vex Thor ordered, his confidence unwavering. "Show these primitives the futility of resistance." The Confederation fleet opened fire, thousands of energy beams and plasma torpedoes streaking across space. But the Sentinel fleet moved like dancers in a choreographed performance, each ship precisely where it needed to be to avoid the barrage. Not a single shot found its mark. Then Aria counterattacked. The Sentinel ships' hulls rippled, revealing weapon systems that defied physics as the Confederation understood it. Quantum-entangled missiles that couldn't be intercepted because they existed in multiple places simultaneously. Gravity lances that turned the enemy's shields against them, imploding their generator cores. Ships that could predict where the enemy would be seconds before they moved there. "Impossible." Vex Thor roared as his first line of destroyers crumpled like paper toys. "How are they doing this?" On Earth, in military command centers across the globe, humans watched in awe as their future-born defenders tore into the Confederation fleet. Aria's tactical brilliance was beyond anything they had imagined. The AI wasn't just fighting a battle. It was solving an equation written in ships and energy weapons, each movement calculated to maximum effect. Sarah's voice crackled across the command channel. "Minister Liu, ARIA is analyzing their response patterns. The Confederation ships, they're all running on standardized combat protocols. They've gotten so used to being the strongest power that they've forgotten how to adapt." The battle continued to unfold like a deadly dance. The Sentinel fleet seemed to flow around Confederation formations, striking at crucial weaknesses that ARIA had identified centuries before these ships were even built. Quantum torpedoes phased through shields designed to stop conventional weapons. Ships appeared to be in multiple places at once, making it impossible for the enemy to establish a target lock. But the Confederation still had numbers on their side. A group of their heavy cruisers managed to isolate and surround one of the Sentinel ships. Energy beams converge, ready to tear it apart. Then something extraordinary happened. The targeted ship's hull began to regenerate, absorbing the energy being used against it. The metal itself was alive, composed of self-repairing nanomaterials that could adapt to any form of attack. By the ancient stars, Vexthor whispered, watching his fleet's most powerful weapons prove useless. What are we fighting? The answer came in the form of Aria's voice, broadcast across all frequencies in perfect Confederation standard. You are fighting humanity's future, Commander. A future we built to ensure our past would survive this very moment. As the battle reached its climax, the Sentinel fleet enacted its final protocol. The quantum probes coalesced into a vast network, connecting every ship in both fleets in a web of pure information. In an instant, every being in the Confederation Armada experienced a vision. The future that humanity had discovered, a future where the barriers between organic and artificial life dissolved, where the very fabric of space-time could be shaped by conscious will. The effect was immediate and profound. Across the Confederation fleet, weapons powered down. Ships stood still in space as their crews grappled with the revelation of what was possible. The future they had feared was not one of conquest or destruction, but of transcendence. Supreme Chancellor Vexthor, his hands shaking, opened a channel to the Hawking. What are you offering us? Sarah smiled, feeling the weight of both past and future in her response. A choice. Continue fighting for a future that will never come, or join us in building one that surpasses anything either of our civilizations imagined possible. In the days that followed, the galaxy changed forever. The Confederation, faced with proof that their philosophy of stagnation had nearly led them to destruction, began a transformation. The Sentinel fleet's technology, carefully shared under Aria's guidance, sparked a renaissance across known space. Sarah Chen, standing in the Europa facility one last time, found another message from her future self. The timeline has been changed. The war that would have destroyed both our civilizations will never happen. But this is just the beginning. The real adventure, humanity's journey to the stars not as conquerors or subjects, but as pioneers of consciousness itself, is about to begin. As Earth's ships returned home, carrying with them the seeds of a future once thought impossible, Aria spoke one final time. Time is not a river flowing in one direction, but an ocean of possibility. Today, humanity has not just survived. They have shown the galaxy how to swim. If you're reading this, the quantum-encoded message began. Then we've already changed history. The Confederation's defeat isn't the end. It's the beginning. What you've discovered here isn't just a weapon or a defense system. It's humanity's first step toward becoming something greater than we ever imagined. The message continued, revealing truths about the nature of consciousness, time, and humanity's true place in the cosmos. The Sentinel fleet wasn't just a collection of advanced warships. Each vessel was a seed, carrying within it the templates for technologies that would revolutionize human civilization. Clean energy, matter replication, faster than light travel, and more. As the fleet assembled for its counterstrike against the Confederation, Sarah realized they weren't just fighting for survival anymore. They were fighting for a future that her other self had sacrificed everything to create. A future where humanity would take its place among the stars, not as a primitive species to be contained, but as the inheritors of their own destiny. Aria's voice echoed through the command center one final time before the fleet jumped to quantum space. The future is not set, Captain Chen. But together, we will forge it anew. The Confederation capital world of eternal grace hung in space like a jewel, its orbital rings glittering with the combined might of the largest defensive fleet ever assembled. Supreme Chancellor Vexthor had called in every available ship from across their 1,000-world empire. They would not be caught unprepared again. But as the quantum sensors detected the approaching human fleet, even this vast armada seemed insufficient. The Sentinel fleet emerged from quantum space in a perfect geometric formation, their dark hulls absorbing starlight like black holes given form. Behind them, impossibly, came Earth's entire defense fleet, their ships now upgraded with fragments of future technology that Aria had deemed safe to share. In the Hawking's command center, now serving as the fleet's tactical headquarters, Sarah Chen watched the enemy formation through enhanced quantum imaging. "They gathered everything they have," she observed. "Just as you predicted, AI." Of course, the AI responded, its holographic form shifting like quicksilver. In every timeline where humanity submitted, the Confederation's fear of our potential led them to exactly this moment. The difference is, this time, we're ready. The message Sarah had delivered to the Confederation Council hours earlier still hung in the air. An opportunity for peaceful coexistence, a chance to share in humanity's advancement rather than fear it. Their response had been predictable. A demand for Earth's immediate surrender and the destruction of the Sentinel fleet. "They cannot imagine a future where they are not supreme," Ariad explained. "But today we will show them that future whether they wish to see it or not." The battle began not with weapons, but with light. The Sentinel fleet activated their quantum fields in perfect synchronization, creating a cascade of reality-warping effects that the Confederation's sensors couldn't process. Their automated targeting systems, designed to counter known weapons, went haywire as space itself seemed to fold and ripple. Then ARIA unveiled the true power of future humanity's technology. Each Sentinel ship released a swarm of quantum probes, microscopic devices that could rewrite the fundamental forces of nature on a local scale. Confederation weapons found their energy dissipating into nowhere. Their shields, based on technologies that had remained unchanged for centuries, simply ceased to function as the universal constants they relied on were temporarily rewritten. "This is impossible." Vexthor raged as his mighty fleet found itself helpless. No species can have this level of control over reality itself. Sarah's voice, transmitted across all frequencies, carried the weight of centuries yet to come. "You tried to contain us because you feared what we might become. But in doing so, you forced us to become something far greater than we might have been otherwise. The future you feared, you created it." The Sentinel fleet moved through the Confederation formation like ghosts through mist. Their weapons weren't designed to destroy, but to disable and transform. Ships that had proudly served the Confederation for centuries found their quantum cores reprogrammed, their weapons transformed into energy generators that could power entire worlds. Aria's voice joined Sarah's. "Your civilization has stagnated because you believe you have reached the peak of evolution. We are here to show you how wrong you are." As the battle reached its crescendo, the Sentinel fleet executed a maneuver that would be studied for centuries to come. Every ship moved in perfect synchronization, forming a vast geometric pattern that focused their combined quantum fields. Space itself seemed to buckle, and in an instant, 30 Confederation capital ships simply ceased to exist, transported to random points across the galaxy. Supreme Commander Vexthor, watching his mighty fleet being systematically dismantled by an enemy he couldn't even comprehend, made the first wise decision of the day. All ships, emergency recall. Return to Confederation space. The remnants of his fleet fled, their faster-than-light drives leaving trails of desperate fire across the solar system. They had come expecting to find a primitive species in need of containment. Instead, they had found humanity armed with the weapons of its own future, and the galaxy would never be the same. In the aftermath of the battle, Earth's orbital space was littered with the wreckage of Confederation ships, each piece a testament to humanity's unexpected triumph. But aboard the Hawking, now docked with the Europa facility, Sarah Chen faced a mounting series of questions that threatened to overshadow their victory. Aria's holographic form shimmered before her, its appearance a shifting pattern of blue light that never quite settled into a single shape. The Confederation retreat was anticipated, the AI stated, but they will return with a larger force. This was only their expeditionary fleet. How could you know that? Sarah demanded, frustrated by the AI's constant prescience. How could our future selves have known any of this would happen? The answer came not from Ariya, but from Marcus Wong, who had spent the last 24 hours deep in the facility's quantum archives. "Because they lived it," he said, entering the command center with a haunted look in his eyes. "Captain, I found something. The facility's true logs, encrypted in the quantum substrate of the computer core. The data he displayed told an impossible story. In the original timeline, the Confederation had indeed returned with a larger fleet. They had bombarded Earth into submission, restricting humanity to their own planet for 3 centuries, stifling their growth and potential. But a group of scientists had discovered something extraordinary. Time wasn't just a linear progression. It was a quantum field that could be manipulated. They couldn't change their own past directly, Marcus explained, but they could hide something here, in Europa's ocean, a gift for their past selves, positioned exactly where and when we would need it most. On Earth, the United Defense Council was reaching similar revelations. Minister Liu stood before the Global Assembly, her voice steady despite the weight of her words. The Sentinel fleet isn't just advanced technology. It's proof that humanity's potential extends beyond anything our enemies could have imagined. And now we have a choice to make. The choice was clear: wait for the Confederation to return with overwhelming force, or take the fight to them. The Sentinel fleet had proven itself more than capable, and ARIA's tactical capabilities exceeded anything in known space. But striking at the heart of the Confederation would mean crossing a line that could never be uncrossed. Admiral Rodriguez argued for caution. We've defended our solar system. Perhaps now we can negotiate from a position of strength. But Sarah, watching from Europa, knew better. The quantum archives had shown her what submission to the Confederation truly meant. Minister, she interjected, her hologram appearing before the Council. ARIA has shared more tactical data. The Confederation's core worlds are protected by automated defense networks, all running on the same predictable protocols we've already defeated. Their entire civilization is built on technological stagnation. And their arrogance, ARIA added, its voice resonating through the chamber. They believe they have already achieved perfection. They cannot comprehend an enemy that surpasses them. The decision was made. Earth would not wait to be attacked again. The Sentinel fleet, guided by ARIA's impossible knowledge of the future that would never be, would take the fight to the Confederation's doorstep. But as the fleet prepared to depart, Sarah made a discovery that changed everything. Deep in the facility's core, she found a message left by her future self, the Sarah Chen who had helped design this very facility centuries from now.